Welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives. I'm your host, Bruce Anthony, here to lead the conversation in important events and topics that'll shape today's society. Join the conversation and follow us wherever you get your audio podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch our video podcast. Rate, review, like, comment, share. Share with your friends, share with your family, hell, even share with your enemies. On today's episode, it's a Sibling Happy Hour. I'm here with my sis, Jay Andrea. We're going to be talking about Loomer versus Marjorie Taylor Greene. Then we're going to be talking about the presidential debate. And then we're going to be talking about women giving gifts to men. But that's enough of the intro. Let's get to the show. What up, sis?
What up, brother?
I can't call it. Before we get to Loomer versus Marjorie Taylor Greene in the race-off battle,
Right.
Did you see what happened to Shannon Sharpe this week?
No, I did not. But for some reason, I did see him trending, and I don't know why. So I didn't look deeper into it.
Well,
what happened?
What had happened is that he was with a young lady in an intimate moment, and his IG Live popped up.
Oh no!
While in the process of this intimate moment.
Oh no.
So it was everybody on IG Live was hearing. They didn't see anything. They heard him being intimate with this young woman.
How does that even happen? Like, I'm being dead. Like, how does that even happen?
Look.
How do you accidentally click on the... Do you know what I'm saying? Click on the app, open it, click the plus button at the bottom of the app, scroll over to live, and then hit record by accident.
Well, it's not record, right? Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of steps to get there.
A lot of steps to start a live. So it's not something you can accidentally butt dial. Like, there's a lot of steps to starting a live. And so I don't understand how you can accidentally start a live. That doesn't make sense.
Well, he accidentally started a live while he was clapping some cheeks.
That
Sorry.
All these cheek clapping and they ain't using hands. Yeah, I don't understand how that's possible.
So, and immediately he tried to say that he was hacked. And then talked to his PR people, and it was like, nothing was seen. It was just some sounds. It's not that really that big of a deal. Like, we've seen worse situations, and so, yeah,
that's insane to me. Again, there's so many steps that you have to go through to open up live, and then to go live. I just don't see how that was an accident.
Well, he said it was an accident, so okay, and it hasn't hurt him. And then he started promoting this new brand of. It's not Blue Chew, but it's something like Blue Chew, the Viagra Cialis, because he said, I'm a 50-something-year-old man and I'm active. And yeah, from the sounds of it, he real active.
I don't want to hear it. And the last thing I want to hear is Shannon Sharpe getting some. That's the last noise that I would like to hear.
People was joking on him because he sounded so winded. It's like, what's all the muscles for if you winded?
You got muscles but no endurance. Nope. Like you're lifting weights but no cardio.
No cardio.
Like that. Yeah, that's what's happening.
You're doing no cardio.
Now he sounded winded. That's embarrassing.
I mean, he might be active, but he's still 55.
That's embarrassing. Because that's not that much older. When I hear those ages now and I think about being 40, I'm like, yeah, that's not too far away from where I'm at.
No, 55 is far, right? That means that he was a freshman, sophomore, and high school when you were born. That's a difference.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, he's 11 years older than me. I think he's 55. So I mean, that's a distance.
I just and then I was hacked. How are you hacked? But it's your own, like it's you on the live. Like, how were you hacked?
Everybody was like, yo, don't try and play that. Don't try and play us, man. Come on now. Come on now. Don't try and play us. We know you weren't hacked. Talk to his PR team, and it's like, it's not that big of a deal. But he, he works for Disney, he works for ESPN. So that is
Yes.
something that you need to be cognizant of. It's
Yes.
Disney. But it was like, look, man, he's 55 and active.
No. He's obviously not active with technology because how did that happen?
I don't know. I'm speechless when I heard it. I was like, "What the hell is going on? I can't believe Onk is active." Oh, that was curious. I thought I would just throw that out there because I didn't know if you had heard about it or not. We haven't talked that much this week, so
Yeah, I had not. I saw him trending. I was like, why is he trending? And why is, why is he on First Take or,
well, he's always on
so,
First Take.
I mean, why is Stephen A. Smith reacted to, like, what was going, it was something about Stephen A. I saw Stephen A. Smith do something. I was like, what is going on here?
Hey, look, he's been active.
What's happening?
All right, we had a little chuckle. Let's get into some more chuckling. Laura Loomer.
Oh, God.
Right. So who is Laura Loomer? I don't know. She's like
Nobody knows.
she's a personality, right? She's made multiple Islamophobic remarks. In one instance, she complained that Uber and Lyft employ too many Muslim drivers and suggested the need for a non-Islamic version of these services. This led her to being
Oh, my
banned from both
God.
platforms. She has also referred to Islam as a cancer on humanity and celebrated the death of migrants attempting to cross the Mediterranean Sea, tweeting, "Good, here's 2,000 more." She's also falsely claimed that Parkland and the Santa Fe school shootings were staged events. She accused the survivors of Parkland school shooting of being puppets, asserting that they were reading from a script and attacking those who supported gun control. She's promoted various conspiracy theories, including suggesting the 2017 Las Vegas shooter was affiliated with ISIS and calling the 2018 mail bombing attempts a false flag operation orchestrated by Democrats. However, more recently, she's amplified a false claim about the alleged Day of Jihad, which contributed to increased tensions and violence. She's a 9/11 truther and conspiracy theorist, and the former president Donald J. Trump had a 9/11 remembrance ceremony, which is so strange because she's a conspiracy theorist. But none of that stuff is what we're really here to talk about. What we're here to talk about is that she posted something and she said that if Kamala Harris won the election, that the whole White House will smell like curry.
Yes.
And
And that White House speeches will be facilitated via a call center. And as you know, many US companies outsource
Mhm,
their call centers to Asian countries, specifically India.
right.
So,
We
Marjorie Taylor Greene,
Yep.
the Republican from Georgia
Mhm.
and a staunch Donald Trump supporter, said, quote, "This is appalling and extremely racist. It does not represent who we are as Republicans or MAGA. This is my own insert. Yes, it does." Return to the quote. "This does not represent President Trump." Again, my own insert. Yes, it does. Because he's carrying, he got sis with him everywhere.
Oh, she is a what my woman girl BB Stimmick say on Barbara Walters. Laura Loomer is Donald Trump's right hand arm man. remember when V. Stiviano said that about Donald Sterling on Barbara Walters? It was years
Right.
ago. Just look it up,
Hand,
ladies.
arm,
Yes,
okay.
just look it up, ladies and gentlemen. It's hilarious. But anyway, Laura Loomer has been right there by Donald Trump's side for weeks
Yes.
now.
Yes. She says, quote, "This type of behavior should not be tolerated." Her rhetoric and her tone does not match the base, does not match MAGA. Again, my own insert. I want to be clear. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene talking, not Jonna. Yes, it does match MAGA. And yes, it does match the base. It does not match most Republicans I know. That's a lie. I'm completely denouncing it. I'm over it. This is, again, Marjorie Taylor Greene, y'all, the one who chased down Parkland students and accused them of being crisis actors. Like, this is when Marjorie Taylor Greene from Georgia, the Republican from Georgia, let's be clear who we're talking about. Bad body Butch Bill, Marjorie Taylor Greene, okay, calls you like deplorable in this way. That's bad. That means Loomer is really bad. And I'm going to tell you, when Loomer first got on my radar, I saw I believe it was either a YouTube or a TikTok that she had made where she was trying to impersonate Madam Harris. And it was all, I'm gonna have me some collard greens in the White House, and I don't need no man, and then I'm gonna get me a whitey and all this. It was, if you've ever seen Madam Harris speak, she doesn't talk like that. I don't know really anyone who talks like that except the way they used to portray Black people in minstrels.
Mhm.
So that's exactly what you're doing. Everybody sees it. And I thought, that's extremely racist. I wonder what other Republicans have to say about this. So I did a quick search, and the first name that popped up, MTG. And they usually write it out MTG.
Mhm.
And I said, who is that? Is that a new rapper? Is that 8Ball and MTG? Who is that? Because I know it can't possibly be Marjorie Taylor Greene calling somebody out for being racist and saying that she's tired of it
Mhm.
or that she's over it. Listen, now that's bad.
Yeah, when you say something so racist that a racist say that was
Right.
racist, that's incredible.
Because again, Marjorie Taylor Greene was previously criticized by the party for white nationalist ties. She's like, hey, I may be a white nationalist, but I'm not racist.
That's the very definition of
Like, that's what is that exactly.
That's what it is.
In 2022, Greene spoke before a meeting of white nationalists to support Russian President Vladimir Putin, drawing the rebuke of the leader of the Republican National Committee. Like, this is not like somebody who you would think this criticism would come from.
Right. And she spoke the truth, right? I mean, this was incredibly racist. It's just weird getting that message from her.
Yes.
But I kind of like this. I like this for a couple of different reasons. They've gone back and forth. They got I was about to say catty issue, but then that places something on gender, and I'm not gonna go there. But they got their little.
No, it's catty.
Yeah, I mean, it is catty.
I'll say it. I'll be the woman on him. Like, nah, some catty. Some catty. Yeah,
you was about to start cussing.
I was about to start cussing. I was about to hit you just like Madam Harris hit Trump. And this former president.
Yes.
Like that
we're gonna get to that. We're gonna hold on. We're gonna get to that.
We're gonna get to that. That was my favorite part. When I tell you I was kikiing, but go ahead.
But yeah, no, you done made me lose my train of thought. Now I don't even know.
You said you liked it.
Yes, I like it because this is infighting. Marjorie Taylor Greene has been like a strong proponent of, a strong advocate, strong supporter of Donald J. Trump, and he got his, I'm going to say, new side piece, Laura Loomer, going with them everywhere, literally everywhere. And I'm going to say
Because
it's a
she's
side
not
piece.
even really acting as a surrogate. Like, why is she there
I don't know why.
other
He
than,
says she's a strong supporter of his, and that's
and
the reason.
he loves flattery. So, of course, he's going to keep somebody around that flatters him. His own wife, if you could call it that. I'm putting air quotes around wife because I don't know what their situation is. You don't ever see her.
Yeah, you don't see her, and this is weird because Laura Loomer has been around. I've known of her, or she's been in my orbit in my mind, not in my orbit in my mind, but she's I've known about her for I don't know 4 years maybe. Like this isn't new, and she's been a strong supporter of Trump for a long time. I just don't understand how all of a sudden, like she's right by his side when they really weren't rocking with each other like that. So this is new. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is another example, once again, of people that's like, well, Trump isn't racist. Well, okay, if you want to say that, he sure got a lot around him. A lot.
He sure surrounds himself
Right. With a lot of racists. And
with a lot of
you
racists.
can't say that Laura Loomer isn't a racist because even Marjorie Taylor Greene says she's a racist.
Right.
So when a racist call you a racist, sure enough, that means you're racist.
I feel like Marjorie Taylor Greene might see a distinction between, like I said earlier, being a racist and being a white nationalist.
Yeah, there is no
No,
distinction.
this is a white country and I want it to be a white country, but I don't hate other races. That's racist. Like I feel like just from what I
Are
know
you
over the
defending
years,
Marjorie Taylor Greene?
absolutely not.
It sounds
From
like you're
what I
kind of being her advocate.
for what I know of MTG over these too many years, truly, honestly, too many years of her being in the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she's dumb enough to think like that.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people think like that.
I think she's dumb enough to think like that. JD Vance and his very limp, oh, I guess I can't. What's a PG way of saying limp limp anyway, and his very flaccid I try to be PG here.
Uh-huh.
Gave him a very flaccid denouncement of her comments. He said, quote, "What Laura said about Kamala Harris is not what we should be focused on. We should be focused on policy and on the issues. I don't look at the internet for every single thing to get offended by. I mean, I make a mean chicken curry, but I don't think that it's insulting for anybody to talk about their dietary preferences or what they want to do in the White House. I mean, it's very
What does that even mean? What?
yeah.
What?
Now, mind you, this is a man whose wife is Indian American.
Oh God. I don't even
You
know
would think
I don't even know what to make from that quote. Where did
nothing.
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
On Friday, Trump told NBC News, I don't know, quote, I don't know much about it. I don't, when asked about if he was familiar with Loomer's conspiracy theories. He added, I know she's a big fan of the campaign, but I really don't know. Like, that's obviously a lie.
Wait, he might
Come on now.
he might not know.
Because there's absolutely no way that no one in his camp was like, hey, Mr. President, she's been kind of controversial lately. You might not want to invite her to the 9/11 memorial. Nope. She's a fan of mine. I'm going to bring her. I'm hitting it on the side.
Yeah. Look, this is reckless speculation, but
It's my unsolicited perspective.
right.
Tell you that.
If you put 1 + 1 together, it equals 2 people, and those 2 people are Trump and Laura Loomer hitting it.
Yeah. I mean, we don't want to think about it, but
no, we don't. So yeah, that's what's going on. I hear Roscoe and Roni in the background. So that's what's going on. But I don't know. This is racism in America.
Yeah. Blatant. Everybody don't need a podcast mic. And that's saying this on a podcast. But listen, when Marjorie Taylor Greene is wagging her finger at you, you gotta make some or do some reassessment on your life, because the hell, I could never go through life being admonished by Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Wow. All right. Okay. Well, we're not done spotlighting Republicans on this show. We're going to talk about the debate next. Well, Jay, I talked about it a little bit on my show that aired on Friday, but I focused specifically on one thing from the debate, and that was Trump talking about they eating cats and dogs. I just found that hilarious.
It, as soon as he said, the way it came up, and he just yells this out like a crazy old man. They're eating the cats and dogs, Springfield. Something that unfortunately has had real world consequences for the Haitian immigrant community in Springfield and in other places. He sounded like a crazy old man. Okay. That stood out for you. That's one of many things that stood out for me. What, anything else that stood out for you before I
just Madam Harris was just holding it together the best that she could, because his off the wall comments, and she was very much, I've seen those facial expressions before, very much auntie vibes, like,
Yes.
what are you saying?
If you have a Black mama, you'd have seen every single one of those facial expressions.
Yes. But
where? Who? You did what? With who? Like, you've seen it. Boy, oh boy. It was a mix of, are you crazy, and a little bit of pity of like, look at this crazy old man. But it was perfect. It was perfect. She laughed at him in the perfect spots. She gave the, oh, come on, like, come on, guy. Like, it was perfect. The debate was not close.
No,
it was not close. She was the clear winner in that debate. Unlike Trump's own spin when he entered his own spin room after the debate and stood around waiting for somebody to ask him questions like a goofy. But he did not win that debate, nor any of his tweets or Truth Social posts indicating that he won the debate because she asked for a second one. No, she asked for a second one because she killed in the first one and she wants to do that to you again. He took the bait that she laid every single time.
Every time.
Okay. What's the batting average for, what's that? She had the batting 1,000?
Yeah, batting 1,000.
There you go. There you go. She was batting 1,000 because he picked the bait up that she laid down every single time. And it wasn't like she dominated speaking wise, because I believe, don't quote me on these numbers, but he spoke 36 times to like her 22 or 24 or something like that.
Yeah.
So she didn't dominate, but it was what was said, it was how it was said. And she laid out the case early of, you're going to hear a bunch of lies. You're going to hear him keep talking about immigration because he has no other talking point. You're going to hear this. Yeah, I think it took her a little second to kind of find her footing. I would say like the first 30 minutes, it was like her trying to find her footing a little bit. But once she did and remembered her training, which Trump clearly did not, all of the debate prep that I'm sure he did not do, I will probably say all of the times his campaign was probably running after him, yelling, please don't do this, please don't do that, and him going, okay. That's probably the extent of the debate prep.
Well, I think Matt Gaetz and the former congresswoman from Hawaii that was a Democrat that switched over to the Republican Party, her name escapes me, but they were part of the debate prep. So
No,
they
that was
helped. They
that was
helped.
no, that was two people that were dumb. That was
They
Matt
probably told
Matt
him,
Gaetz.
well, Matt Gaetz is, I don't know, he's a lawyer. He's got a law degree. Look,
Yeah, they did a great job because he did terrible.
you can't ring him in. He's his
No.
own person. So he's not going to stick to the script. And like you were saying, she was baiting him. And once she hit him with a couple of jabs and tested his ego,
Yeah.
he couldn't respond. My man was talking about crowd sizes. He was talking.
Yeah.
He said
He could not.
he said they busted in for Madam Harris's events, and that's not the case.
Yeah.
People are just excited to see her.
Yeah.
So yeah.
She called him weak. I wish somebody would do a number count on that, of the number of times she called him weak.
Mm.
It came up pretty much anytime she got the mic, that he's weak on this, he's weak on that. She perfectly got under his skin.
Mm-hmm.
He tried by using her "I'm speaking" remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It phased her not at all. Yeah, I do remember. And you used it not to the same effect that I did. I used it to greater effect because it didn't become a meme or anything anywhere.
Mm-mm.
Whereas her telling former Vice President Mike Pence, "I'm speaking," that was everywhere.
Yeah, it was.
Oh Lord, I have so many notes. I'm trying to go through all of my notes. Oh, when she got him about them, I knew as soon as she said this about those rallies that people leave early out of exhaustion and boredom. That there was no way. I think they asked him about his favorite topic, what was immigration. I think the next question. And he said, no, let's go back to crowd size. and he couldn't, she has to pay people to come to her rallies. No, she doesn't.
No.
She's generating excitement. Y'all tried to hold rallies in the same place, and the attendance numbers were drastically different. It was not even close. Let's see. Her referring to him as an out of touch and bad businessman for inheriting $400 million and then filing for bankruptcy 6 times. When she said he was fired by 81 million people, that he never recovered from. I feel like that was the nail in the coffin for him, because he just spiraled out after that. To use his own rhetoric of being fired, you're fired, all that, and then you were fired. You were not fired by the American people. You were fired by 81 million people. Like, to actually put a number on it, and he just did not recover after that.
He's still contesting that, still saying that the 81 million people, that was another thing that he was focusing on. The 2020 election has been 4 years, and he's still focusing on that. So,
I mean, she just needled him, taunted him, and he fell for it every single time. And even when he was live fact checked, didn't matter. He's still talking about eating of cats and dogs in Springfield.
So that's
because he saw one video from one nut job, right, whose dog clearly ran away from her, because who wouldn't?
So all that has been debunked. I talked about that on the Friday's episode, but
yes,
it was the fact that they live fact checked him.
Yes.
And they said it's not true. This isn't happening. City officials saying it's not true. Police department saying it's not true. And he comes back with, well, I saw it on TV.
I saw it on TV.
And this is a man that was president of the United States and is running to be president again.
Yeah.
And my favorite line from his during the debate was obviously they're eating cats and dogs. But the fact that he had a concept of a plan.
A concept of a plan isn't even an idea. Like, it's literally just a premise And that premise is I want to create a better plan than ACA or Obamacare. That's the concept of a plan,
Mm-hmm.
which means it's just a premise, and that means you don't have nothing in the last 8, almost 9 years. You've come up with, almost 7, almost 8 years. You've come up with nothing.
Well, no, you can
Not
say
even the
9 years.
outline, not even the outline of a plan. Not even I have bullet points. It's not fully fleshed out, but we put it into chat GPT and we got some bullet points. Okay. I asked Gemini or Copilot and we got bullet points of a plan. You couldn't even do that. And then to imply that she had the questions beforehand. Sir, this is not your first presidential debate.
It was hers.
It was hers.
It was hers.
But everybody knows you're going to get asked about immigration. You're going to get asked about the economy, healthcare, like foreign policy. Everybody knows you're going to be asked about Ukraine, Israel. Like everybody knows that these are the topics that they're going to focus on because these are the topics that the American public cares about right now. So no, she didn't get the questions beforehand. She just has common sense.
That, and there was another thing. They said that she had secret earrings that gave her microphones so she could, that was another right-wing talking point.
Oh my
And
God.
then another one was that the moderators were biased because that they were fact-checking him. They fact-checked him way more than they fact-checked her. I think it was like 36-1. And I was like,
yeah,
he was
because
lying.
You wanna know why? Because he was lying.
That's lying.
He said they're eating cats and dogs.
Oh, yeah.
He was lying.
I think JD Vance was on CNN either last night or this morning, still not denouncing that, still saying, well, one of my constituents said that happened to them.
One crazy constituent.
Right. What else? My thing was, other people were talking about Kamala Harris didn't really explain policy that much. And my response was, she explained a lot about what she wanted to do.
Yes.
And Trump only has concepts of plans.
Right. I think, did she go into a lot of detail about her policy? No, because I think the point of that debate was to show the competency difference between the two of them.
Yeah.
Which is probably largely why she wants a second debate so that she can kind of go into more specifics. She doesn't need a debate to do that, but it'll draw the crowd.
Oh, he already said he ain't doing another debate.
He not doing it. No, because he knows that he was dying up there.
Well, she set the tone at the beginning.
Yeah.
When they walked out, he wasn't gonna shake hands. She went straight towards him
and got in his face.
Yep.
Put her hand out and said, Kamala Harris, let's have a nice debate. I love that.
Yep.
And then because she said, now you heard me say my name, he did not say the word Kamala at all in that entire debate.
He ain't say Kamala, because that's the way they like to call her, Kamala.
No.
Okay.
He did not say her first name or attempt to try to say her first name at all. And I think he definitely would have tried because, before the debate and after, he was like, and then we got Kamala, I can't even mispronounce her name. And we got, why does he mispronounce it? Kamala? That's it.
Okay, so they be jacking me up because it's a lot of right-wing people that say Kamala instead of Kamala. And I know Kamala. Kamala was a Ugandan giant. He was a professional wrestler. So that name is stuck in my head to the point where I be messing up sometimes. I'm like, it's Kamala, not Kamala. But they say it all the time. All the time. No matter who they are, no matter what network, they say Kamala.
Yes.
And I had to correct associate of mine and say,
because they ain't a friend if they can't
Yeah, well, it's an
pronounce her name
associate.
correctly.
It's an associate. And they was like, Kamala. And I'm like, listen, her name is Kamala. No,
Yeah.
she said Kamala. I was like, no, she didn't.
No, she never mispronounced her own
Right.
name.
Yes, you're not going to mispronounce your own name.
I'm gonna give you a key example. People ask me, "What's my name?"
Mhm.
Jana. Oh, that's pretty. How do you spell that? Janna. Oh, Jana.
Nope.
No, that's not what I just said.
Mhm.
That's not what I just said. And then and so I understand her frustration of being called Kamala instead of Kamala. Her
Mhm.
name is Kamala. It's not that damn difficult.
Mm-mm.
Just like my name is Jana. It's not Jana, Johanna, Jana, whatever y'all want to call me. It's not that. I don't care how it's spelled and how you think it should be pronounced. I'm telling you the correct pronunciation of my name.
Right.
Put some respect on it. I honestly wish that in some of her rallies she has said, "Put some respect on my name." I wish she had said that. Honestly,
I think that's going too far into hip hop.
No, but I love it.
I know you love because you love messiness.
Yes.
What else about this debate was interesting to you?
Well, I'll go back to the handshake. He looked, because she walked all the way up on him.
She did all the way.
His handshake, he looked so goofy. But she made it impossible for him to ignore that hand and still look presidential.
Yeah, that was a power move. That was a straight up gangster power move.
Yeah, because traditionally they meet in the middle, shake hands, and then go to their respective podiums. He walked directly to his podium. She said, "Oh no." And she was starting to walk to the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Oh no," and made a beeline.
She walked, they shook hands at his podium.
At his podium. She walked up on him. And this is not a small man.
No, he's my height. He's like 6'4".
Yes.
Yeah.
He's not a small man, and he's not small, width-wise. Like, he's not a small man.
Now that's jacked up. That's basically
No, I mean, he's not overall, he's not a small
he's
man.
not. You mean he's not tall and lanky when you say width-wise.
He's a big dude. I don't know how else to say it. Yeah. He's a big dude.
Okay, he's big.
And so for her,
I can say
she walked up on him with purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And with confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And it was beautiful to watch. I love when he just kind of, this was after he, spiraled out, and he said he's still talking about Biden, even though she corrected him and said, "You're not running against him, you're running against me." But he said he hates her, by the way. Can't stand her. Like, it's just like, there's no evidence of that. How would you know that before the American people?
Right.
Did he call you and tell you? How do you know that?
Oh man, he just be saying stuff.
Yeah. He praised dictators.
Always does.
I mean, he always does that.
Ain't nothing
new. That's not, and that's sad that that's not nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
But she got him. She said he lacks the temperament to be president, and that's clear because she had him on the ropes. He was on defense the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to take some offensive jabs, and it just didn't, and nothing landed. And it was a beautiful thing to watch. Honestly, I was sitting on my deck. I had it up on my iPad, and I had me a little something to smoke on.
Uh-huh.
And I was laughing my ass off the entire time. Mm-hmm. She was calm, she was in control, and she did a great job of distinguishing their, like I said, their temperament, their competency. Look, he looks crazy.
She looked, once again, this was another example, a continuation from the convention where she looked presidential.
Yes. Yeah. So, we can talk about her platform. She did get out several of things. She talks a lot about her child tax credit. She talks a lot about providing, the 25,000 in assistance to qualified first-time home buyers, raising the corporate income tax. And also, guys, hey, quick sidebar. Her wanting to tax
Capital gains.
capital gains. It don't affect you. Like, let's
First of all,
Okay.
people can't even, if you ask them what is a capital gain, they have
Yeah.
no idea.
Right.
That's
Let me-
first and foremost, no
let me
idea.
just say,
And they're taxing
nothing to do
capital
with you.
gains, right, on people that are worth, that have $100 million.
No,
This don't affect you at all.
it's not about you.
Not about you at
Not
all.
talking about you. So you don't have to, you don't have to worry about that. He kept trying to repeatedly tie her to Biden. And also the messaging from both their campaigns that night was completely different. He was all doom and gloom.
Mm-hmm. Well, I
That's
explained.
which again, that's his playbook.
Yeah, well, I explained that's the Republican playbook.
It's he's taking it to a new level.
Well,
because of his propensity for hyperbole.
Yeah, well,
It's the worst we've ever had in the history of the country, and no one has ever had it worse ever.
From the beginning of time, nothing has ever been this bad. No,
yes.
But this is a Republican playbook of fear mongering and preying on white fear. I talked about this all on the Friday episode, but that's the Republican playbook. That's when they talk about immigration, when they talk about Haitians eating cats and dogs, that once again is not true. When they talk about they're invading your homes, they're invading our country, they're specifically talking about people who are other than white, who are not white, coming to take from what is yours. And that is a common playbook throughout the history of this country of specifically rich white men with all the money sitting at a table with a white person and a black person. And a white person has a little bit on their plate and a black person has a little bit on their plate. And the person that's rich and white, male, that has everything on their plate is turning and looking to the other white man saying, he's trying to take away from you. When in fact, the rich white man is hoarding everything from everybody. But they point the finger and play people against each other, more specifically, the average white American who is out there working hard, trying to support the family, because there's a lot of people out there that are just supporting, that are affected by the inflation and the economy and all this type of stuff, right? And they say, well, you would have more if all these minorities weren't taken away from you. And they say it's because of affirmative action or DEI or critical race theory or immigration. And that's the playbook. And none of it's true. Because the fact of the matter is, the reason why those white people don't have anything on their plate is because rich white men have been taken since the foundation of this country.
Yes. It literally is the history and the present and likely the future of this country.
Well, let's hope we can have a better future.
I hope.
Maybe not in our lifetime, but let's, maybe one day.
In theirs. For sure. Because if you don't recognize that that's the reality of what's going on, you will continue to be consumed by it.
Well, people fall for magic tricks all the time. This has just been the longest running MAGA. I was going to say,
MAGA trick.
MAGA trick. This is a MAGA trick. People fall for tricks all the time. I love the fact that even right-wing networks were even saying, yeah, Trump lost that debate. It was like, he performed horribly. This does not look good.
Yeah. They could not even defend.
They tried.
His performance. They did try.
Surprisingly, not Fox News. But some people on Fox News, but overall, as a news network, they weren't doing it. Now, he did go on Hannity just a couple of days after that
Right.
and did a town hall where he didn't answer not a question.
No.
But I don't expect him to answer real questions.
No. No, of course not. You know, they did press her on her changes in some of her policies, like around fracking and things like that. I don't know how effective she was in defending that, but she did say, listen, it's been since 2020 that I said I'm not against fracking. And our, our whole presidency, we didn't do anything to stop fracking. Like, what do you, I don't know what that, but I get it. People want to make sure she's not the type of person to flip flop on things. Um,
But see, here's the
so
thing to me. It's okay to
mm,
flip flop. When you're given more information,
right,
it's okay to be like, oh, I thought things was this way. But now that
right,
I've got more information, maybe it's not a complete 180, but maybe a 90, 100-degree turn on what your previous thought process was.
right.
When you're
Because you
given more
got more
information,
information about
yeah,
it.
when you
Yeah,
do a complete 180, if she was saying, I'm never for fracking, and then she was like, I'm for fracking, then I
right,
get that. But that's not the case here.
right.
So the ability for our politicians to get more information and not change their fundamental beliefs, but change some vision of ideas that they have, I think that's growth and evolution. Because if you think that's like saying you think the same thing that you thought 20 years ago. Look, if you think the
Right.
same thing that you thought 20 years ago, God help
Yeah.
you. So
Yeah.
I'm not tripping off of that. I was more looking at, what are your policies? And she has some good ideas.
Yeah.
I'm tired of people saying, well, if you had those ideas, why didn't you do them already? People really don't
She was
know.
not the president of the United
And the
States.
people really don't know how or the three branches of government work.
Right.
This isn't a dictatorship. You can't just, even executive orders can only get so much done. Like you have to go through Congress. You got to get
Mhm.
things passed. And it just so happens that the Senate under Joe Biden has done more filibusters than any civ and I'm going to do a Trump than any Senate has ever done in the history of all the Senates. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they've caused more disruption
Yeah.
than any Senate ever has. So yeah, no, I'm not tripping off of that.
Yeah. I thought the one of the highlights of the night was when they were talking about abortion, and when he was talking about how proud he was of taking down Roe v. Wade and saying, quote, I did a great service in doing it. It took courage to do it. It's what people wanted. And she got pissed a little bit when he said this is what people wanted. People, and she said, quote, people being denied care in an emergency room because healthcare providers are afraid of being hauled off to jail. And gave a very visceral example. She talked about somebody who wanted their child but was having complications and ends up, bleeding out in a emergency room waiting room because of the concern of healthcare providers in providing care. I mean, it really took all any. I mean, obviously, we all know that the overturning of Roe v. Wade is extremely unpopular among the American people writ large, and it has resulted in a myriad of states placing damn near full bans on abortion and making it incredibly difficult for healthcare providers and for the women and people who can have children, um, their ability to seek proper care. It just took all of the wind out of his sails, if he had any whatsoever, even though, again, like I said, it's wildly unpopular. to me that little bit of like, are you effing kidding me? Like that she gave there, and then just how poignant her example was. I thought that was, to me, that was one of the highlights of the night. I'm like, she got him. She got him. She got him on that.
Yeah, she got him on a lot. She got him on
She
most
got
stuff.
him on a lot. It was a good. I had a great time watching it. I don't know about anybody else. It's definitely a complete 180 from first presidential debate,
Facts.
which, the Biden you saw at the DNC, that's the Biden that we voted for. I don't know why they had two old men trying to talk to each other at 9:00 at night. Like that should have been happening at 2, 3 in the afternoon. Like
Right.
that should not have been happening at 9:00 at night. After them probably having a full day of, him being president.
Yeah, because that's a job.
It's a job. So yeah, to me, I thought it was great. I wish they could have another round. He's obviously not going to do that because he got manhandled for an hour and a half. So yeah, it was a fantastic debate. I have no notes.
In the words of Stone Cold Steve Austin, Madam Harris opened up a can of whoop ass on Donald
Yes.
J. Trump.
Yes.
Up next, we're going to be giving women a little advice on dating men specifically, by a TikTok that I saw that opened up a really interesting question.
Mhm.
We're going to get into that next. So Jay, I sent you this video that I found on Twitter X that's from TikTok, and it brought up a very interesting conversation point about dating.
Yeah.
So it is basically the thoughtful gesture for men. It's a clip from it's TikTok, and it's at WD Hive. This is Anwar who's talking, who's a dating coach, and it's from the podcast. I believe it's a podcast and maybe a clip show. I'm not real sure.
It's a podcast called Horrible Decisions.
Okay, podcast called Horrible Decisions. I've never listened or watched the podcast. This was a clip.
I have. It's very funny.
Okay.
And horrible is spelled like whore.
Yeah, and it's spelled like whore,
with
as
a W.
As in the whore of Babylon.
It's a it's a dating and sex positive podcast, and it's very illuminating, the things that they talk about.
Okay. So like I said, Anwar is a dating coach, and this was a conversation that was on the podcast. And I'm just going to read, I'm paraphrasing the transcript, but this is basically the transcript of the particular clip that I saw. One of the hosts asked, at what point can a woman show that she's interested without seeming to be masculine? Anwar responds, don't offer. Don't offer to pay the check on day 3. What you do is you bring a small gift to him. That's $25, maybe $20 or less, but it's thoughtful and considerate. Something that he wouldn't get for himself, that is based on his hobbies, his passion. Let's say he loves Yankees. I'm a Yankee hat or some socks or a shirt or something like that. Understand this, when you do this, you're letting him know that he's not a bank to you, and that you've heard him, and that you're thinking about him, because he just wants to be considered. You also have to understand that men don't receive presents or gifts. They barely maybe even get a card from their mama. Side note, I get cards from my mama, but I understand the point he's trying to make.
Yes.
Back to the clip. And he will start to think of you as someone who is a potential girlfriend or wife, and not just someone that he's hanging out with. It's no big deal to the woman, but it can mean everything to the man. And when I saw this clip, I never thought about it like that. But women have done this to me. One of the last women that I dated, and I don't remember where we were in the dating. She ended up being my girlfriend, but this was before we decided to be boyfriend and girlfriend, or going together, as we used to say back in the day.
Right.
I don't know where this was in the dating process, but I think we dated for like 3 or 4 months before we decided, okay, let's just be exclusive. But
Mhm.
it's somewhere early within the first couple of months. And she did something so simple.
Mhm.
She got me samples, multiple samples of lip balm because
Mhm.
she had noticed that I am a chapstick whore. I am
Yeah.
addicted to chapstick.
Yeah.
And she was like, "These are actually better for you. They got different flavors, different mints. I mean, different.
Mhm.
One was fresh mint, which was
Yeah.
nice when I was kissing her because she was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that tastes good." And it
Yeah.
also had like it was a sample kit, so not only did it have lip balms, but also had like face serums and face scrubs, and it was a
Yeah.
small gift, right? It's a
Yeah.
sample box,
Yeah.
but to me, I was like, "Wow, that made
Yeah.
me think that was a change in my mind where I started thinking of her, maybe,
Yeah.
just maybe." And I've had other women just give me small stuff. So if I'm
Yeah.
dating a woman around Christmas time and it not be my girlfriend, but we're just dating, talking, whatever.
Yeah.
I had a woman that got me stuff that I still literally use. She got me throw pillows and throw covers for the
Mhm.
couches. Now, were they gifts basically for herself because she was over a lot?
Yeah.
Yes. However, she color coordinated it so it matched everything that was going on in my living room and
Right.
made it more presentable. And those type of maneuvers made me think of, well, maybe. And
Mhm.
and it was something that I never even thought of, but it's something where you're considered. And men will be out here listening to this and like, I don't care about no gift. You say that
You say
until
that.
until it happens.
Yeah.
And then
I saw a TikTok where they were simply presenting, it was Black men, a bouquet of flowers,
mm,
just giving them flowers. And a lot of them got emotional because they had never received flowers, let alone a gift of appreciation.
mhm,
And that's a symptom of patriarchy.
mhm,
And that us as a society saying that men are the ones that are supposed to buy you flowers and gifts, and nobody putting that same expectation on their partner
right.
to also get them flowers and gifts. I gave a man once a bouquet of flowers and talks about them flowers to this day. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Because it was the first and probably only time since that he received flowers. And what it means to get your flowers. And that people are like, "Hey, I see you
mhm.
and I love what you're doing and I love this for you and I want you to know that I see it, I admire it, and here are your flowers."
I think
Like,
I think men, we need to do a better job of this. And it's funny. I was doing my walk last night, my old man walk, and girls, girls, girls comes on.
mm,
And there's this line where Jay-Z says, "I got my project chick, and that's my heart. If it goes down, I know she's got my back." And
yes.
what men really truly want is know that somebody is in their corner and has their back. And these small gifts are
Mhm.
just a little signature. My bestie, not this birthday, but last birthday, she always does something special for my birthday. This year she was not in town and she sent me a cake. It was
Yeah.
delivered to the house. The year before, she got me a money tree.
Yeah.
I tried my hardest to keep that money tree alive. It stayed alive for a year,
Yeah.
right? I tried my hardest to keep it alive. It meant so much to me. I
Yeah.
placed it prominently in my place because I was like, wow, nobody's ever really gotten me like a plant.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
this is really dope.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. As I was listening and watching this clip, flood of memories started hitting me in my head of
Mhm.
the things that really mattered to me the most. And it is these small gestures of being shown, hey, I see you. That
Yeah.
same woman that got me the lip balm,
Yeah.
we were actually together for Christmas. And we got little gifts. And then she was like, well, here's the main gift. And the main gift was these shoes. Now,
Mhm.
these were not my normal Jordans. These were shoes from back in the day that I was like, I had talked about months before
Yeah.
Yeah, these shoes are kind of dope. You don't have them now. I don't really rock those shoes anymore, but I remember when I was young, like I had
Yeah.
these shoes. This girl found those shoes.
Yeah.
And like I'm on Christmas Day, almost burst into tears because I was like, God, this is so thoughtful. And
Yeah.
there have been so many women in my life that have done those little gifts. And
Yeah.
and what women don't know is that we ain't gonna really complain about paying for a lot of stuff as long as the women are showing they appreciate us. And by giving us these little gifts, it's
Mhm.
playing with us, it's tricking us a little bit. They tricking us.
Yeah, that was my concern with it becoming dating advice, is
Well,
that it feels if people
manipulative.
hear that, it feels like a
Mhm.
manipulation. I think it has to be organic.
Yes.
I don't agree with that being dating advice.
Well, I also
That
don't
was the
agree.
only thing that I had, the only issue I had with that. I don't think that that's dating advice. If that doesn't naturally come from you to make sure that your partner feels respected and admired and whatever, like if that doesn't naturally come from you,
Right.
then you shouldn't be allowed to reap the benefits of it
Mm,
by playing into
well, okay,
it
so
feels manipulative.
it does feel manipulative, but I guess dating are just back and forth trades of manipulation. And when you
It
really,
shouldn't
it
be. It
shouldn't
should
be,
be
but it is.
organic responses to whatever you're getting.
But if it's not natural, I get what you're saying, but also it could be just something a woman just doesn't think about.
You're right.
And so this is bringing the idea, hey, you know what his interests are. Why wouldn't you? I guarantee you, there's a lot of times where women are dating a guy and they see something when they're out shopping and was like, oh, I bet he would like this.
Mhm.
And they say, well, I don't want to play myself by getting him something, or why would I do something for him? Like he should be doing
Right.
for me and stop
That's
themselves.
somebody that you don't like, and you need to just go ahead and go on.
I think
Like,
I think
that's
I
somebody
don't
that you don't
now
like.
that's not necessarily true. You can be cautious in your movements because of past traumas and you don't
Mhm.
want to be played.
But when you get to the point where you're not acting the way you would naturally act, the way you would naturally act is you saw that and you were like, I think he would like that. And you reach for it and then you're like, oh, I don't want to play myself. No, do what feels natural and organic
People
to
ain't gonna do
you.
that when they're dating. Look, dating out here is rough. People are
Oh
more
yeah, but it's rough
so.
because
Yeah,
because
that's true.
everybody is treating it like a manipulation.
You're right. You're
That's
right.
why it's rough. Nobody is being their genuine selves. And if your genuine self is, I like to spoil my partner,
That's your love
and
language, right?
then
Yeah.
you don't do it. And it's also another thing is you also have to recognize when she is spoiling you.
Hmm.
Because a lot of women, it's not gonna be a gift. It might be you come home and she's cleaned your spot.
Right.
You come home and dinner is ready, but there's those expectations of like, "Oh, she should be cleaning my spot, or she should be making dinner." No, she
No.
doesn't.
Mm-mm.
She does not have to,
Right.
okay? She doesn't have to do that. It could be anything. Her just, you had to get a tooth pulled, and she shows up, she offers to take
Not
you.
get it too full.
It could be anything. She offers to take you and waits there in the waiting room and takes you home and makes sure you're straight. Like it could be anything. Like you also have to recognize when people are spoiling you and when they are caring for you.
Yeah. I mean, that means people.
And that's both ways.
Yeah, but people have blinders on when it comes to dating.
Yeah.
People have blinders on when it comes to life.
And then you're not ready to date. If you're not open, if you're not open to receiving care and compassion and reciprocating it, and you are not ready to date.
That's not true. They could just not know how to receive. That doesn't mean that they're not ready to date. That just means
Yes,
they're
it
gonna. No,
does.
it does
If
not.
you if
I
you
disagree with that.
No, listen, if you are not open, listen to what I said, not just receiving, but reciprocating.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
you are
Okay. If you're
not
not
open
to do both,
to
right?
that
Yeah. Okay.
because you don't want to play yourself or because of past trauma, or you don't want to show somebody that you like them because you feel like then they could manipulate you in some way, then you're not ready to date.
You're right. You're right.
Oh Lord. I think that barking
Yeah, no,
is
this
letting us know we approaching the end of the
we're approaching the end of the show. And my only thing is one last comment about that. Also, women on the third date, if y'all not offering to pay, ain't no fourth date. So yes,
Yeah.
a small gift and offer to pay. But on that note, Jay,
And the way to get around that and not appear masculine is for you to initiate the date. But make it something. It don't have to be, "Hey, let's go axe throwing." It don't have to
that's
be
masculine.
right. That
Yeah.
if you're concerned about the appearance, I think that's a ridiculous concern. I think when people are like, "Oh, you're not feminine, you're not masculine," da, 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 what they're really saying is, um, "You're not open to being submissive to me." And that has nothing to do with masculinity or femininity. It's about the environment that you create that makes me want to be submissive.
Mm.
Like that's and also you just got to have a woman that thinks like that. And if you're dating a woman who's very into being an alpha female, then that's not the lady for you. If you want a submiss, she's out there, but that's not the one for you. But to get back to my original point, which I have immediately forgotten,
ADHD.
ADHD, it should be organic, and if you're the way you can do a date and not be masculine. Yeah, just be like, "You know what? I would like to take you out. How's that?" Like I would like to show you a good time. Like you can do it in a very cute way. That it be like, "Oh, you got a little date plan? I got me a little date plan. Okay, well, let's see what you're doing now." That's a cute way for you to initiate a date and then pay for the date. He might still try to pay, but then pay for the date and you won't come off as mad. There's a cute, very demure,
I thought
very
we were stopping.
modest
I
way.
thought we were stopping with the mirror. I thought that was over.
No, no, it's not. There's a way to do it, and it's not that hard to do if you're concerned about coming off as masculine. But don't let that be a concern. That's ridiculous.
I couldn't say it any better than myself. And on that note, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And until next time, as always, I'll holla. Whew, that was a hell of a show. Thank you for rocking with us here on Unsolicited Perspectives with Bruce Anthony. Now, before you go, don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, comment, and share our podcast wherever you're listening or watching it to it. Pass it along to your friends. If you enjoy it, that means the people that you rock with will enjoy it also. So share the wealth, share the knowledge, share the noise. And for all those people that say, "Well, I don't have a YouTube." If you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can actually watch our video podcast. But the real party is on our Patreon page, After Hours Uncensored and Talking Straight-ish. After Hours Uncensored is another show with my sister. And once again, the key word there is uncensored. Those are exclusively on our Patreon page. Jump onto our website at unsolicitedperspectives.com for all things us. That's where you can get all of our audio, video, our blogs, and even buy our merch. And if you're really feeling genuine and want to help us out, you can donate on our donations page. Donations go strictly to improving our software and hardware so we can keep giving you guys good content that you can clearly listen to and that you can clearly see. So any donation would be appreciative. Most importantly, I want to say thank you for listening and watching and supporting us. And I'll catch you next time. Audi 5000. Peace.